and they're just like, oh, like they're. I try to make them at least. It never really feels like right to me when someone says, "Oh, like look, the South is so stupid." No, like no, they're just a different part of the country. Like they're just different people. They like different things. They know like they have fun. Like they live their lives. They have the same, most likely more struggles than we do in the Northeast. But and really not through any fault of their. Like it's just the problems that they deal with are different. Most likely, kind of harder than the lives that many in the Northeast live. But it's just not a really generalization that I feel comfortable with. And believe me, I do feel comfortable with a lot of generalizations. That is not one of them. But anyway, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just being delusional on that, but whatever. Yeah, so his tweet came early in the morning, and really it gained traction pretty quickly, accruing responses from many, many people who thought Barbaro's seeming indictment of the South as being selfish for not traveling less than 2 miles before March 26th, or particularly responsible for the spread of COVID-19, or whatever kind of judgment he meant by the South, was misplaced at best or offensive at worst. Because, I mean, I don't know, maybe you are listening to this from another part of the country, but in the way, at least, let's see where Michael Barbaro is born here. Okay, North Haven, Connecticut, at least, according to Wikipedia. Yeah, so that is, yeah, the North Haven. So pretty much the way people in the Northeast view people in the Southeast as, they view them as, like, largely just, like, hicks, like, rednecks, people who are just really dumb. And typical of, like, the fat American who we in the Northeast say, oh, we're cosmopolitan. Like, Michael Barrow went to Yale. He's like, I'm smart, I'm educated, I pronounce words in a robotic way that, like, people, like, literally a team of people have to come in and tell me how to pronounce words in a way of emphasis or a way of not of emphasis. Like, I have to say, today, on the daily. Like, it's like, that's the kind of mindset he compares. And then when he sees someone not trying, he thinks they're like, is it really, from the sense I get, it's just like a sense of underdevelopment. Just people who are just not, like, the same, I guess, in weird, like, they're different, like, they're weird, they're uncultured, they're Trump support, like, whatever. It's like, I just get the sense that's the kind of judgment that he has. Because, I mean, that's the general judgment of people from the Northeast. I know, because I would say that I'm probably from the same, I'm definitely from the same region of the country as Michael Barbaro, and kind of in the same socioeconomic situation, but I don't know, I can't really do that because that is probably, again, a little bit of a generalization, but it really is that kind of judgment. I mean, I guess he really should give him a chance to explain itself, but either way, it's not good. There are any amount of reasons, really, why people in the South may need to travel further than 2 miles from home on any given day, including that they can't work from home, that their workplace isn't close to their home, or that they don't live by grocery stores or restaurants. I mean, you could really talk for hours about the treatment the South undeservedly gets. Governments across the South have resisted implementing shelter-in-place or stay-at-home orders, which, of course, is not the fault of the residents in such states, but it's far easier to generalize than spare a group of people from classist, often racist attacks. So, I mean, it's just, it's really so dumb. It's like, lots of people in the South have to drive 30-plus minutes to go to a grocery store. Stop with this ignorance, says one person on Twitter. Marlo Safi on Twitter says, Twitter successfully cyberbullied the New York Times podcast host in deleting his tweet about the red state redneck hicks who have to drive several miles to the old country shop for their life-sustaining products, LOL. Fortunately for Barbaro, and unfortunately for me, Twitter has now made it extremely easy for me to search for other people quote tweeting his now deleted tweet. Yes, he deleted it, but not before retweeting someone telling him to delete it. Because, yeah, yeah, he literally retweeted someone telling him to delete it, with the tweet. This is Cody Worsham, said he quote tweets Michael Barbaro's tweet and writes, "That's 2 words. Here are 2 more words. Food deserts. Here are 2 more words. Delete this." And he retweeted it for some reason. After taking his tweet down, he replaced it with an explanation of why it seems, that his audience, not he, was in the wrong. A lot of misinterpretation of my not well enough contextualized tweet on this, so taking it down will let the map speak for itself with link to article for greater context. it is kind of puzzling that as a professional communicator, you would feel that gesturing to this map and saying, quote, the South, unquote, would be enough to get your point across. No, not the South, as in the way that people generally mean it when they denigrate the region's people. I mean the South as its government's lack of action enforcing stay-at-home regulations, but yeah, you can tell that. It's just really not a good way of expressing there. So Michael Barbaro really letting his New York Times, it's not really giving the New York Times a good name there, is how I'd phrase it, by letting his liberal elitism show, is I guess a really example of that. So Michael Barbaro, do better. On that note, that's all the time we have for today's episode of Newsflash. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be back tomorrow because we're 3 times a week now, everybody. See you then.